I don't regret anything I have done. I don't even have any remorse for all the lives I might have destroyed. Even if I spent a long time with someone and we seem to have formed a connection, I really don't care about him or her. Period. I met Carl in high school. He was a football player and a pretty cool guy to hang out with. I was one of the popular kids as well. I didn't play sports, I wasn't particularly rich, but I had a charming personality. High school was great for a sociopath. Attention and power are like fuel, and I got all of that. I felt better than other people. I was hanging out with the most beautiful girls, and I was doing pretty well in school as well. My life was normal. Everything went fine. Or at least, that's the way things seemed. You see, I hated when I saw hot girls talk with the other guys. I couldn't stand that they had a chance just like I did. I had urges to hurt these people, not to the point where I would kill someone. It's not that it would make me feel guilt or remorse, but it's just not worth me spending my life in jail. After all, you can hurt people or end their lives without having to kill them. To be honest, it makes me feel so powerful to know that you can actually control whether someone will have a good life or a bad one, or if they can even have one at all. Carl was a better version of me. He was popular, smart, but he was also athletic. I acted as if we were best friends, but I really hated him. He made me feel less special, less powerful, and I wanted to make him feel worse. I can't tell you how many times I had urges to hurt him when I had the chance. The thought that I could put an end to all the things he was made me want to do it more. Because just in seconds, I could have destroyed everything he worked for year after year. The high GPA, the Stanford scholarship he was working for. But I couldn't have gotten away with it easily. After a while, it went from an urge that popped up sometimes to an obsession, the only thing I could think about whenever I was with him. So I started spending more time with him to try to figure out how I could destroy Carl's life. I was really committed to doing it. Also, I knew how to crush his spirit. During high school, Carl had one girlfriend, and he was always talking about how he couldn't see himself alive without her. But I could. So first things first, I needed to make her leave him. I was pretty good with girls, but it would have been messy if I tried to steal her from him. I needed a better approach for something like this. Whenever I was with him and she sent him messages on his phone, I would delete them so he couldn't respond. Whenever she asked me where he was, I told her I saw him with another girl. After every fight, I would try and get them back together. I needed him to trust me for this plan to work. I needed him to think that I was on his side. After too many fights, his girl broke up with him. I'd never seen him crushed or sad like that. I guess he really did love her. And I guess that meant I was on the right path as well. After a while, I knew how to go about the rest of my plan. I knew he needed an escape from all the pain in his life, so I took him to a party, and halfway through the night I offered him a pill. I pretended to take one, and I gave him one. After a couple days, he came and asked me if I could get him some more. This turned into a habit pretty quickly. Now I had what I wanted. His heart was broken. He was powerless. His grades went down, and the only thing he had left was football. But I felt like I could take this even further. I wanted to see how far I could go. I was no longer concerned about ruining Carl's life, but rather by seeing what I was capable of, how far I could really go. I knew that the only thing he had left was football, and I know he only was a couple steps away from breaking down. I knew if I took that away from him, he'd be devastated. One night, when he was at my house telling me about how his life had turned upside down, I offered him a couple drinks. And by a couple, I mean an entire bottle of vodka. He was very drunk to drive, but I told him he would be okay and he should drive to see his girlfriend and start getting his life back together. I knew he wouldn't make it there. On his way, he got into an accident and he was rushed to the hospital. He had a few broken ribs and a severe shoulder injury. Doctors told him he probably wouldn't play football ever again. Now, I didn't expect it to be this bad, but hey, it worked out better. He never played football again. As a matter of fact, he was so crushed he didn't even finish high school. He's still living in town, and he has a dead-end job. While I moved on to a better city, and I'm living the dream life, and whenever I visit town, he's so happy to see me. He always tells me I'm the best friend he ever had, who stood by his side the whole time, and how much he misses having me around there. It feels so good to see someone who was once better than you become a failure.